CEO, and welcome on behalf of Stanford's Indigenous Peacemaking class of Spring 2023. The course was funded by Native American Studies in a generous grant from A Life Comes From It, and taught by Karen Beesman. We are honored to have spent 10 weeks learning from leading scholars, judges, attorneys, and practitioners about peacemaking's Indigenous teachings and practice. We are especially grateful to the following teachers and mentors: Brett Shelton, Nia Maraza Keeswood, Cheryl Fairbanks, Robert Yazzie, Christy Chapman, Carson Smith, David Rash, Sheldon Spotted Elk, and Michael Petoskey. At Stanford, we are building a toolkit of peacemaking and other conflict resolution pathways for addressing harm and positioning healing. The class developed 2 hypothetical campus-based scenarios to showcase representative issues at Stanford and enacted a mock circle to address them. Students are all actors, and this is not a real-life scenario. We feel that students, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, are the peers who can lead a peacemaking movement inside and outside of the classroom that addresses fundamental questions such as, who are we as a campus community? How can we heal from harm? What can Indigenous wisdom teach us about community conflict resolution? For us, peacemaking is a value-based, place-based framework for addressing fractured relationships and contested issues. This practice is rooted in ancient Indigenous knowledge, and we call it the original dispute resolution. It centers community voices with equitable participation within the circle in order to heal from harm and reach a consensus resolution. Healing does not come from detached apologies and adversarial approaches, but through the warm embrace and guidance of relatives who have an active interest in your well-being. That is why peacemaking circles include relevant members of the community who are not only able to provide informed perspectives on the situation at hand, but also have a vested interest in the outcome of their community. This approach is tough on issues but kind to individuals and builds trust instead of destroying it. Ultimately, the goal is to reach a consensus-based resolution that fits the needs of the community. We hope that this toolkit will be a valuable asset in helping your community heal, learn, and resolve conflicts.
Hello everyone, I'm Joey, and I'm going to introduce our scenario. Last Friday, a student in a freshman dorm threw a party in their room. This student provided alcohol at the party and invited friends both in the dorm and non-residents. At about 1:30 a.m., a student who attended the party was found in the hallway by their roommate, presumably after drinking too much. This roommate found the resident assistant on call. The RA was worried about the student's condition and called for medical transport to a local hospital. In response to the transport and subsequent student distress, the resident fellow, a faculty advisor for the dorm, has decided to host a peacemaking circle to resolve the harm that occurred. So that is a little introduction to where we are today. I am Joey, the resident fellow, and I'm welcoming everyone here to this space. Let's start with a short 3 deep breaths to orient ourselves and our bodies to being here. So feel free to close your eyes, settle into your chair, and bring your attention to your breath slowly. And breathe in, breathe out, and in, and out. One more time, in, and out. All right, thank you everyone. So the quick guidelines here is that this rock I collected when I was a kid will be our talking piece. So we'll pass this in order, and if you don't have this, please don't talk. And the symbol of this rock is, I'm hoping that we all can take care of our inner childs. And we also have a centerpiece down here, a bowl for y'all to look at if it's hard to make eye contact with others in the circle. So very quickly kind of framing the space. This is a confidential space. Everything that is shared here should stay here. And please do respect the order of the circle. This sacred space will deepen as we settle into it. Hopefully it feels like a space of safety and vulnerability, and that we give each other patience, attention, and slowness. I want to invite you all to give feedback to as we go, as we create the space together. This is not something that I'm creating by myself. We're co-creating this, and we also don't have the intention today to fix or solve this, especially in the short time frame that we have. This is going to be the beginning of opening up a container and see where we go and what we need. So to start, we can go around with this rock here, and please introduce yourselves with your name and your pronouns if you like, who you are, and lastly, a value that you hold and who shared it with you.
My name is Jose. I use they them pronouns. I was transported at the party, and a value that was passed down to me from my sister is patience.
My name is Sid. I use they them pronouns, and I'm a close friend of Jose and their roommate. I was the one who found Jose in the hallway and called the RA, who later then decided to make the transport. And a value that I hold is humility, and my sister gave that to me.
Yeah, Shay Charleston Curley. Hello, my name is Charleston Curley. I am a resident of the dorm, and a value I hold is spirituality. My girlfriend gifted that to me because it's what keeps a community strong.
Hi, I'm Kat. I use she and they pronouns, and the value that I'm showing up with today is patience, which has been gifted to me by my sibling. And to kind of introduce myself and how I'm showing up here is the night of the party. I was the one that threw the party in my dorm, and it was my party that Jose was transported from.
Hi, my name is Catherine. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the RA for this dorm, and so I was the one who made the call that night to bring Jose to the hospital. And a value that's important to me that I want to bring here is compassion, which was gifted to me by my dad.
Thank you. All right, thank you everyone. So this next question, let's go around and please share how this has impacted you and how you feel. And so this is a time for you to share your perspective in your own words.
So I guess I first want to start off by saying that I'm okay. I was also okay the night of the transport. I think everyone here, or a few people here, are conscious of my financial standpoint, where how I currently am financially, and know that I cannot afford a transport, could not afford a transport. I was also promised by Kat that they would watch me and drink with me and monitor me because I'm new to this. I don't regularly drink, and I just feel sort of completely unaccounted for, forgotten, and yeah, I just don't know how this happened, given the fact that I also remember clearly saying no to the transport, but it still occurred. So yeah.
Where I was the night of the party and transport, I was in my room studying. I was not in attendance of the party, I was on my way to the restroom and I came across Jose in the hallway, and I was distressed. So the first thing I thought to do was to contact the RA, Catherine, and Catherine later decided to make the transport. I guess the decision has caused some tension among Jose and I, who, is my roommate and my close friend. I guess I feel guilty, like I somehow caused this situation to happen, and I'm sad about the tension between us. And I'm also concerned if this happens in the future and we don't have a structured protocol to act on. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, even though I did not attend the party, but as a resident of the dorm, I still felt impacted. First, I wasn't aware of how noisy it would be, and I felt like I was being disrespected because my time to rest and my space was disrupted by such loud noise. So I was very annoyed, but at the end, I saw an ambulance, which made me feel like I wasn't in a safe environment.
Okay. Okay. I know that we're supposed to be really honest in this space, and so I want to bring full honesty. I'm feeling pretty mad right now. I think, I'm hearing what, especially Jose, that you said, and it had just, I feel like it was my party, and I did throw the party, and I promised you that I could keep you safe, but because of the rules of our school, that wasn't able to happen. And so, when Catherine found out, what she had to do was report it, and then once it was reported, what the school tells us we have to, what the school rules are not okay, and it makes it so. I was trying to have a fun party, we were having a great night, it was a great night, and because of the school's rules, that had to end, and I had to put in Jose in a position that was dangerous, and now has consequences that they're going to continue to have to deal with. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty upset.
I have a few things. The first thing is that I'm feeling a little bit, I think I'm feeling misunderstood or blamed in a way, just because there's been some tension. So I guess just to start off, I am only a couple years older than you guys, and we are not really trained on what to do medically, right? No one really tells us how to assess whether somebody needs to go to the hospital. And so if I'm given the choice of letting somebody be potentially really badly harmed or something worse to happen to them because they're not really responsive, and calling 911, I'm gonna call 911 if it seems like a borderline situation, because I'm frankly not equipped to assess what's actually happening and whether somebody's okay, and that's a very stressful position for me to be in. I don't feel like I'm really adequately trained to be the person in charge of this, and so I did what I thought was the safest, best thing to do. And I mean, I heard you say, Jose, that you were saying no, you didn't want to be transported, and you were barely speaking, and it might have felt like that's what you were saying or whatever, but to me, you were not really responding, you were not really speaking words clearly, you weren't really able to sit up, and that was really scary. And I'm really sorry that this has impacted you this way, I guess, but it does not seem like it needs to be this tense. It does not need to be this much conflict in this dorm, because it's, I know that we've all felt it, that's why we're here, it's been tense. And I want to echo what Kat was saying about the rules. I also don't like the rules, and I don't know, I think maybe I feel constrained by them as well. The fact that you guys don't feel comfortable talking to me about drinking and about the fact that you're drinking until it gets to the point of someone being unsafe. So I don't know, I feel maybe one thing that we could try to think about is if there's a way to rethink how we talk about alcohol as a dorm, because right now it seems like the rules that like the larger administration is giving us is making it so that we're not able to make safe choices because we don't ask for help until it gets to like a point of desperation, and that's how we end up in places like this.
Thank you, everyone. I'm hearing all sorts of different needs. I'm hearing some like immediate financial ones. I'm hearing some relational ones and community ones, and a lot of stress and burden that this has put on a lot of people. So I'm very grateful that y'all are sharing that. And what you said at the end, Catherine, I think kind of starts to move towards like what possible next steps could be. And so this next, that kind of alludes to the next question, which is kind of, what do y'all hope to get out of this space that we're creating together? I think it's easy to jump in and say like, oh, here's a possible solution, but we're also still kind of examining how this has impacted all of us too. So I think maybe speak from the heart, that could be a good place to start. Like, what do you need to feel safe in this community, and how can we provide that?
So I think when I first came to the dorm community, I thought our community values were underlying our dorm values, our school rules. Clearly that's not the case. I think what I need is some sort of reassurance that will change, that we will have community values that put people first rather than whatever the school rules are. And I also I completely understand, Jazz, like your standpoint. Like, it was super loud. I remember when I was like in and out of consciousness that it was panic. It was complete panic. People were asking like, what did they take? And I think if we had just been a little more conscious about just usage at the party itself, keeping track of what everyone has had, that wouldn't have happened. You would have been fine. You would have probably gone to sleep. Kat, I don't completely understand how, I don't know, I thought our friendship would sort of, again, like, even if community values didn't come first, I think our friendship should have still came first. I didn't think the school rules would put you in a position to break that promise that I originally went into the party having. So yeah, also I still can't pay these bills. That will be something to address too.
For me, I think my main concern is restoring my relationship with Jose. I know that you are not speaking to me, and I respect that. However, I want to assure you that although I was aware of your financial situation, I was not aware that a transport would happen, and I am sorry for the strain that this has caused you, and I really hope that we can come to a resolve eventually. I also think that what I would like to see moving forward is, I just think we should have more conversation. I think there's a lot of defensiveness in the room and a lot of just miscommunication that I feel like could be resolved if we, sat down and talked about, we acknowledge the rules of the school, but also like our own personal needs of the community, because I feel like that should not go unnoticed. And I guess I would like to just ensure that there is more organization if this happens again, and that we can all just come together as a dorm again.
Yeah, well, my main concern is our safe community in the dorm, because it did not feel like people who were not at the party were being considered. It was just, I think that people who are going to do parties should be more considerate of those who are trying to sleep, because we're all college students and like we just want our rest too. And I think that moving forward, we should be able to be accountable as college students to create a safe community. And yeah.
First, I want to say that, I think hearing what Jose you have to say, and also Sid what I think you have to say as well, and Jazz as well, I think I just want to say I am really sorry, Jose, about what happened that night. And I think that how I've been feeling before this circle is pretty just mad at the rules and mad at the way that the school has sort of built allowed for us to be social and have fun and have fun with each other, but despite those rules, I should know that, and I should know those rules, and I should be, as a friend to you, committed to keeping you safe. And I'm sorry that I didn't do that, and that wasn't a priority for me that night as the person that was hosting the party. So I am really sorry. I think I am feeling how, as far as next steps, that I just feel really, really still frustrated about the fact that as Jose said, we have these values as our dorm, and how can we make sure that as a dorm we are committed to those values despite the fact that the school makes it so we have to abide by these certain rules. Those are the school rules, not our dorm rules. So what can we really commit to as a dorm to make sure that we can have fun and also be safe?
Yeah, I think going forward, I really want to echo this community values point, because I think going into this year, the other RAs and I talked about what we wanted this dorm to look like, right? And what our values are, but at the end of the day, we have so little control over what actually ends up happening. And I just know that, community values can be hard to actually uphold. It can be hard when we talk about things like looking out for each other, being kind, right? That can be really easy in practice to talk about, and then there's a bunch of things going on, whether it's in everyday life or it's literally a chaotic moment. It's hard to know what that actually looks like. And so I wonder if we could have a conversation, maybe even after this, about how do we make those concrete, and how do those values show up in our everyday lives, and then especially in higher stakes situation like this one. Because to be honest, I still don't really know if I think that I did the wrong thing when, right? But people still seem to be angry with me and angry with the situation, and I still feel unsure whether that was the right thing to do, because I know kind of that my priorities were health and safety in this moment. But I feel if we want to talk about what is going to guide our actions, we got to make that concrete, and we have to talk about what that actually looks like, because I'm open to figuring out how to kind of bend the rules in the ways that we can. Obviously, I'm employed by the university, right? There's only a limit to how much we can change, but rules on drinking and parties and things like that, I know that they can be damaging. And so I'm certainly open to talking about how we can work around them or bend them a little bit.
All right. Super grateful for y'all sharing. It sounds like we have some ideas about how we can kind of proceed, what some values might be for our community. I think across the board, we're all super interested in community norms and deepening those and aligning. Sounds like Catherine too, at the end you mentioned maybe meeting after this. This will be the last question for now. So keep that in mind. And I'll ask y'all, what are some very tangible things? I've heard safety earlier, the tangible things you want this community to be, and how you want it to build it, and then what steps might those take? That could take additional time building together, that could take more reflection. So I'm kind of curious what things that y'all want for your community.
I think first, I completely understand the RA standpoint in not being trained. I do think it's a little weird to go into that role, getting your housing paid, and sort of not expecting to encounter those things. So I think
Okay, but that's not like, that's not fair, because it's not my fault that we're not trained. Like, they just say like.
But you're going into the role.
Right, but like.
You don't just
it's
get
not
to.
my fault that they're.
As I understand, there'll be time for you in a moment. Let's let Jose kind of finish, and then we'll be able to get to that.
Okay. Ignoring that, I still think we should have. Like if I can't sit up, sit me up. Put me against a wall. Someone hold me. Look in my eyes. Do something instead of just leaving it to the cops. Like we can take care of each other as well. I think that's something that's there. No one needs guidance for that. Another thing that is also tangible is monetary aid. If anyone would like to assist me, because I know I simply can't. There's nothing I can do. My family can't do anything. And it's gonna take up a lot of mental space for a while until I figure things out.
I guess I would be more than happy to help you out financially, since I am the one that, did play a role in causing this transport to happen. So I would be happy to do that as an immediate action item. I also think moving forward, maybe we can, as a dorm, develop wellness spaces or just spaces that can promote healing amongst each other, whether that be like a journaling night or some music or food, whatever. I just really think that designating time and space for us to be together and have fun amidst this really, really difficult event is important for restoring my relationship with Jose and also just our relationships with each other. So I think we really need to make space for that.
Yeah, I don't feel like I should be able to help, or I should be accountable for helping financially because I wasn't there. But I do think that something we could do is like obeying the rules. Like there's choir rules for a reason, and like there is no like quiet after 1 a.m., which is weekends, which is when the weekend choir rules or quiet hours start. Because that would, and I think that being another tangible thing could be taking care of ourselves, because like you should be able to prioritize your safety, especially when you go out and have fun. Like you should be responsible for your own type of accountability. Yeah.
I definitely think that, I as well as I think I will ask other people who are at the party can help contribute financially to make sure that the burden is not all on you, Jose, about the transport. I think if we could get everyone at the party to chip in some, like we can get the like raise what we need, because I think that burden should not be on you. And I think as I've been in the circle and like have heard everyone talk, like I think I've just realized that like we do as a community need to make sure that I think we can talk with Catherine and Joey, the RA and the RF, about the rules of the house, but at the end of the day, like the rules are going to constrain us, and we have to make sure we're taking care of each other despite that. And so I think that that's something that, like, for those people who do want to party and have fun and drink as part of that, that's a conversation that we all need to have, of like really committing to each other that if we're going to do that in spaces where there are these rules that could put us at risk, that we're committing to take care of each other. So I just want to say that. And then I think I also want to say, to Sid and to Chaz about like what you want to see, or like about other alternatives for social things and drinking. Like that also is something that I think we should really talk about and do as a community. And I think that we can also commit to, as part of this, like having the conversations about how we intentionally are having these social spaces, make sure that we're being respectful of quiet hours and telling people telling people when we're going to have a party and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I just think I want to like just really quickly first address the fact that like the problem of like drinking in dorms is really hard. And obviously I was like getting defensive earlier about the fact that like they don't really train us, but like no matter what, I'm not medically trained, right? Like we can't have every single RA be somebody who is trained as like a paramedic or something, right? So like no matter what, I'm not gonna have the knowledge to like make that kind of decision. And so I don't know, I guess I'm just feeling I feel bad and I'm really sorry, but like I just don't think there's anything else like I could have done. So yeah, and I hope that like we can continue to like figure out how to like be on good terms about this, and to kind of like heal this relationship because it's important to me. And I don't want this incident to impact our relationship going forward, Jose. But then also more broadly on the topic of like tangible things we could do. I think that, you know, you guys did not get enough like alcohol safety training or education. So I think we could for sure do some sort of community built led discussion or kind of education thing where we all share like tips with each other to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again. Especially because I know there are a lot of people in this dorm who like haven't really drank that much before coming to college. And then also I think it would be super fair to like putting in the community value of caring for each other into action to like set up a little like crowdfunding thing if it's okay with you, Jose. Because if we all chip in a little bit, I think that we could help to alleviate that burden. So.
Thank you, everyone. It sounds to me like we have some like really clear next steps that are kind of materializing here. It sounds like the first one will be structuring this mutual aid for the cost of the transport. I loved hearing those who are already offered or are offering to crowdsource. I think that sounds like it would be the first step, especially because it seems that is at the crux of some of the tension here. And then afterwards, it sounds like structuring alcohol education, healing space, community care, structuring rules for the house together. That all sounds like conversations and space that needs to be held. So as we kind of like transition out of this space, I invite you all to kind of take a few more deep breaths, as we did at the beginning, to close together, and then we can think about afterwards how we want to continue this. All right. Feel free to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Another deep breath. Exhale. And last one. Inhale. And exhale. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming to the Peacemaking Circle today. My name is Trinity. I'm going to be the peacemaker for our circle today, and I'm going to start off by introducing the conflict and what has brought us here today. So, a student organization, Committee for Change, focused on environmental activism, is experiencing conflict over the planning of an event. There is a small budget with only enough room for one event for the year. As a result, one group of members believes that the event should focus on bringing speakers on environmental justice issues, while the other group believes the event should prioritize creating a fun social atmosphere for current club members and potential new recruits. The conflict has led to tension and lack of communication between the two sides. The two club co-presidents got into a heated debate during the most recent club meeting in front of all the members. The conversation devolved into an argument full of unproductive and accusatory remarks. Our goal within this circle today is to create a safe and supportive environment where each club member can express their feelings and perspectives without fear of judgment or retaliation. So thank you all again for joining me today. As I said, my name is Trinity, and I'm just going to set a few guidelines to set the circle today. So to start off, in front of you, you'll see that we have a centering piece. It is full of a lot of elements of nature just to signify the meaning of the club and what's brought us here today. And then here we have our talking piece. So this talking piece was a necklace gifted to me by my aunt. So I feel like this signifies love, and I hope that we make this space a space of love today. So yeah, you're only able to talk when you're holding this piece. Please honor the piece as it ensures that everyone gets equal speaking time and everyone is heard equally as well. So to start us off, let's please introduce ourselves, one core value you hold, and what encouraged you to join Committee for Change in the first place.
My name's David. I'm a senior. I'm one of the co-leaders of the club, and one of the values that I have is integrity, given to me by my grandparents. And I guess the reason I joined the Committee for Change was because I saw it as a place that I could come together with other people and kind of make a difference with the environment, and just feel like I'm doing something.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm a senior and also a co-president of Committee for Change. One value that's important to me is humor, and I joined this club because I wanted to make new friends who had similar interests.
Hi, my name is Tree, and I joined this club a year ago because I have a deep value for service, and I wanted to be of service to the environment and also connect with like-minded people.
My name is Maya, and a core value that I grew up with was safety. And I got that from my grandmother. She worked really hard to make sure everyone in the home could feel as comfortable as they could. And the reason I'm here today is because I just joined the club a couple months ago. I'm a freshman, and I was a witness of the argument that occurred between our two co-leaders, and I just really wanted to be here to represent kind of our, like, the new students that are joining, and how it impacted us.
Hi, I'm Layla, and the core value that I have is compassion. And the reason why I joined this club was because I actually founded it. Whenever I was a student at the university, I helped found this club with my friends with the goal of making an impact on the environment with people that I really clicked with. And I've come back in a professional capacity now to help support the club.
Thank you all for those introductions. Now that we all know each other and why we're here today, I would like to take a moment to take a few deep breaths just to ground ourselves in this space. So if you'd all join me, if you would like to close your eyes with me and take 3 deep breaths. So we're going to breathe in and out. In and out. Final one, in and out. Amazing. Thank you all for joining me in that activity. Now that we feel grounded in this space and we know all the guidelines and know who each other are, we're going to jump into the next question. The next question is, I'm so happy to be here with all of you today. It's great that we're all in this peacemaking circle. I'm curious what brings you personally to this circle.
I guess the reason I'm here today is because I am just trying to figure out, like, kind of what happened, and I feel like, you know, there's a lot of arguments that have been coming up between me and Gabby, and you know, this event that's coming up is the only one we can do throughout this year because we'd only have funding for one, and I really want it to be, I really want to make a difference or feel like I make a difference, and like that's super important to me, and I haven't, and like I don't feel like for instance, Gabby, like we've been here since we've been freshmen, but I feel like you just don't care anymore, and like
Well, I actually don't know about that.
Okay,
but
so when we're holding the talking piece, that's when we're able to talk. So you will get your chance to talk in just a second. But first, let's please let David finish what he's gonna say.
I guess it just feels like people just don't care anymore about like what we're trying to do, and like kind of feels like I'm alone and the only one that cares about like making a difference with the environment, and I just am here to try and figure out like what happened and like kind of what changed.
Well, first off, I want to say, like, I definitely still care about this club, and like, I guess why I'm here today is it's just the tension is so uncomfortable all the time. I feel like David and I are just constantly fighting, and it broke out in that big argument that you guys were all there for, and it just like, honestly, it just sucks to be in the club, in like the environment in the club is just so awful and uncomfortable all the time. It's not even fun to be there, and which is just so sad and disappointing. And I feel like honestly no one understands my point of view and everything that I'm trying to bring and everything that I'm trying to do, and there's less and less turnout to events, and I'm just feeling really disappointed, honestly, and frustrated, and honestly I'm pretty annoyed at David too, so yeah.
Well, I'm here for a couple different reasons, but I feel like I'm mainly here for David because I've just seen how much hard work and effort you've been putting into this club since the beginning. And I've only been here a year, but I feel like you're completely unsupported and you're just trying to create more positive change and really do what we're all here to do as an environmental club, but you're not being supported, and I feel like I'm one of the only ones who's been supporting you. Yeah, and I'm also here because I witnessed you guys' fight, and it was just really upsetting to me, and also like I know a lot of the other club members, and especially as like an environmental club, I don't think we should be fighting. I think that goes against our values. So I'd like to see some change, some positive change come out of this circle.
In a lot of ways, I agree. As someone who is not a leader or in like a position of higher status in the club in a first year, I feel kind of uncomfortable being here and kind of saying my perspective when I feel like it might kind of come off as small. But I think to witness the fight at the meeting made me feel really tense and really sad and hopeless, because I really came in as a freshman wanting to join this club and having done similar things in high school, and I wanted community and I wanted family with you guys. So to come to this meeting and see the whole event happen made me feel really kind of brought back to being home and like to the conflict that I had within my family and that I witnessed there, and the kind of heaviness in my heart that brings up. And so to witness it on that day felt really sensitive to me, and yeah, I just want to try and help out in whatever way I can to see how we can progress together as more of a family and where this can go in a way that our values are all met. And yeah.
So the first that I heard of this conflict was whenever I was at the meeting with you all, and I heard the conversation just really devolve into derogatory remarks and yelling at each other, and I was extremely disappointed in those students because I've seen them grow up since their first year at college. I've been with you all, and I've never seen you act like that. And I don't see you in your everyday lives, so I don't know how long this has been going on for or what the underlying issues are, but I really want to spend today making a safe space where you guys can trust each other enough to really work through these issues. because I know that you all care about each other and care about the mission of this club. And so you really need to be reminded of that and to not focus so much on yourselves, but on the collective mission that we have. So really keep that in mind today, because I want us to be able to come back together at the end of this.
Thank you all for sharing. I know it can be hard to discuss emotions, especially in a group setting, and peers you may have not discussed emotions like this with before, so thank you all for doing that. I'm hearing a lot of valid concerns on all sides, from club members who are seniors to freshmen to alumni even. Sounds like there's a lot of valid concerns, and this circle is hopefully going to be the next step towards fixing those concerns and making the club a better space for everyone. So that kind of leads into our next question. What are some of your personal needs as a club member, and what do you think that other club members can do to help support those needs?
I guess for me, like I've said before, like I've been saying, like I've been feeling kind of alienated, and like I just feel like I was like the only one that was really kind of trying to make a difference anymore. But like kind of hearing Tree like support has been kind of made me feel less alone, because I just, it's my last year here, and I've just been wanting to make a difference, and I've just been super, anxious that like I haven't been doing enough, and I guess more of that is just like, that was super nice to hear, and I hope that there's more of that. But I also can understand like the other sides of it. Like maybe I'm just super hyper focused on like trying to make a difference, and maybe I just need to listen to others as well and kind of create a community again, because maybe that's also try to help recreate this community, because maybe that's also probably why I'm feeling alone, because I am just so driven by what I want to do, but haven't really asked for help. And I guess that's kind of me doing this right now, is just asking for help.
In terms of what I personally need right now is, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of the leadership from last year played a really big role in my experience in the club the past 4 years at school. I think like in the past Maya used the word family, and it really did feel like that, and when they left, it kind of felt like a part of my family, and my support system left as well. And I think that like them leaving and then kind of stepping up into a leadership position was really hard, because I tried to recreate that, but it didn't really work out. So I feel like, and kind of like you were saying, Maya, like I also feel like I need that family again. Like I want us to be that, have that love for each other, and that community. And at the same time, like I feel so stressed out with like I have a big final coming up, and like I'm in really tough classes this quarter, and I feel like in the past when I would come and hang out with the people here in this space, like it was kind of like a relief from that, and it was almost a sanctuary. Like I didn't have to think about all the stuff going on, all the stress I'm under, because I get to spend time with friends, and it gets to be like a really special, it's a special place and a special time together. And lately I just haven't been feeling that at all. Like it's the complete opposite, where like on top of class and on top of like, I know everyone else is feeling all this stuff too, like on top of everything, we're like, I'm also expected to deal with like social stuff and like all this tension between me and David, and like the arguing. It's just like I'm honestly just really tired and sick of it all. And so I guess I need this club to be like a secure relieving space again, and not a space of stress. And I guess for how the community can help me with that, I would say like people engaging in our activities, and people showing up to events. And I guess thinking back, I guess I could help. I guess I should be the one to maybe listen more to one another and be an example to the community to make it a better place like that too. But I feel like I'm trying my best, and I'm hoping other people will try as well.
So I have a need to be met by this club, by the members of this club, and also to meet the other members of this club. I have a need for integrity. Like, we came here, we're all a part of this because we all value the environment and want to preserve the environment, and it feels like we're not really putting enough energy into doing that, and like have just been kind of slacking. So I really have this need to feel like we're meeting this value as a club, and like that I'm not just coming here and wasting my time, because I have plenty of other social clubs and groups that I go to meet that need, but to me, like, that's just not a need I have for this club, and I'd really like to see our energy going into like environmental activism and change. Yeah.
I think, no one is going to join this club if we're always in argument with one another. And like, if I had known coming in as a freshman that this is what I was going to be signing up for, I don't know if I would have actually wanted to start coming to the events. And yeah, I mean, I've spent like a year coming to these things and really trying to be proactive and a member of the community, but this kind of tenseness just makes it really unattractive to keep coming into it, and also makes me not very hopeful of the amount of people that we're going to be able to keep coming to these clubs and keep being able to attending and making the community bigger, which seems to be something that has come up for some of us about wanting to continue this throughout the years as we become old alumni. So yeah, I just feel that a need I need is that we kind of come together with some resolution about how we can mix community and that sort of intention with having a physical event, and being really all intentional about how we come to the meetings for that, and I don't know, because I feel like some of us have feelings that we want to be tied to events, like emotions that we want to have tied to these events. But the only way we're going to have those feelings of community and love show up at the events is if we also show up with them to the meetings, and when we run into each other, and when we see each other just around. So I need us to have more of that feeling and intention when we're around each other all the time, of community and of the values of the club in the first place.
That really hit home for me, because it really hurts my heart to hear about the new reputation of this club, that people wouldn't want to join us because they've heard about the conflict that's been happening and about our club meetings. And I really have a personal stake in this, because it was something that I started and something that I want to continue to be a place for people to meet up and make a change. And So I'm really feeling guilty because I didn't catch any of this sooner. I didn't know about the struggles that you guys were going through, and it's my job to make sure that you guys feel supported. So I'm sorry if I didn't follow through with that like I should have. But with that, I'm still feeling embarrassed about how you guys acted and how we're being perceived. Our community partners have heard about this. Those are relationships that we're going to have to repair. It's going to take time to do that. And so what I need from you guys is to come together and to really put work into this, because it's going to take open and honest conversations like this again and again to build back that foundation, to make everyone feel welcome again.
Thank you all for sharing. It sounds like there's a lot of different needs that need to be met, whether it be community or focusing more on making a real change. All these needs really contribute to the goal of the club, which is what a lot of you guys said at the beginning with that opening round. You guys all have very similar reasons for joining this club. So yeah, now going into the final round, I know with our limited time, we don't have enough time to really flesh out all the problems in a concrete solution. But there's been a lot of really important things said here today and really tangible steps forward. So for the final question, I'm curious, what are some tangible steps you think the club can take to feel like a place of community and understanding once again like it used to?
I guess for me, I kind of think this whole time I've just really been super hyper-focused on kind of like my goals and stuff, and kind of lost sight of what, like, the whole purpose of like why I joined this club too. Like, I was here to make a difference and stuff, but I was also here because it was such a great community back when we joined as freshmen. So I think that going forward, it's super important that we try to reignite that passion in our community, because, you know, without the support of everyone else, it's really hard to get things done. And so maybe one of the things we can do, like with this event, for example, is just, maybe it doesn't have to just be like solely focused on making a change, but maybe we can also like take it outdoors and like have a lot of different events that might seem more attractive to outside people, to try and like, you know, paint us in a better light than we've been seen by the rest of the community. Because I guess it's been sad feeling this way, because it's issues I've cared about a lot, and I made some really good memories with people over the years. And so I think moving forward, like, maybe I myself shouldn't be so focused on getting things like done exactly how I need them to be, but I think it's important that I help cultivate a place where like all of us can come together and not only make a change, but also feel like we're a family again. And, you know, this event's the reason that this stuff happened in the first place, and I think just maybe letting some of what I want be put to the side might be the best way, and might be a way that, you know, Gabby, you can kind of get that family that you came here to search out for, because it kind of just eye-opening hearing what everyone had to say. Like I said, like, I've just been so focused on myself and wanting to make it feel like I did something while I've been here, and I sometimes forget that that's kind of everybody, you know, so.
It's been really powerful hearing what everyone's had to say so far in this circle. I think especially going back to that first question about like why everyone joined in the first place, I guess like thinking on that a little bit, we all do have this similar interest and needs of like community, and then also I guess like making a change and making a difference, and that could be something that I've kind of lost sight of throughout the way, and kind of been in my own head about everything that I'm going through and not necessarily thinking about what's best for everyone and the mission of the club in general. So I think, David, I'm willing to meet you halfway, and I do want to work towards that. I think as the co-presidents of the club, it is our responsibility to get along, and I think this is a good first step, but honestly I think it's going to take more than just this conversation to like repair the relationship that that we have right now. So I think maybe at another time we can go get maybe like get coffee and talk about this a little bit further, and like our vision for the club, and talk through it in a respectful way, and really try to listen to each other like we're doing now. And I think that would be super helpful in moving forward. And I think I'm just gonna try to keep in mind all of the love that each of you has for the club and the space, and kind of just actively work towards making that community better, and keep at the same time think about the mission of the club and what brings us all here in the first place, which is to make a change and do some work towards that. So I think those are my next steps.
Listening to all of you guys has also been really helpful for me, and I feel like I'm understanding that some of us might have more feelings of importance around this being a community space and a social space, whereas others of us might value more like taking action and being in like environmental change, like in a physical sense. And I guess I'm realizing, listening to all this, that we can have both, and there's no reason why it just has to be one or the other. And I think moving forward, like even specifically in this upcoming event, like there can be an emphasis on creating more community and connecting more to each other, because there's so many of you guys that I don't feel like I can say I really know, but also having these events be spaces where like we have speakers and are recruiting new members and reaching our goals as an environmental club. So I think we can have both. And the last thing I'm going to say is that I think we should all vow to have our club meetings be like a safe and peaceful space where we just refrain from violent speech and arguing. And I think that has no place inside of our meetings, and like if that does need to happen, that can be taken elsewhere. So that would help me feel more safe.
Yeah, I really like that idea. I think maybe a way we could do that more tangibly is I'd love maybe to work with you guys. I feel weird saying that as a freshman and like not like I'm just interjecting what I could do to help, but by working with you guys to do something maybe at the beginning of meetings so that it can like a really grounding space and something we can all work on together of I don't know, like some sort of consistent thing that we do at the beginning of meetings to set our intentions and to make sure that we're all clear on where we're coming at for that hour that we're together. And maybe helping to plan some events off campus and like getting us to do more like actual family type stuff, and like maybe cooking together more often, or like I don't know, spending more time outside together. I think those would all be things that could help us like get to know each other more and come to meetings and the events with like a better understanding of who we all are and what we all have to offer to the club.
Today has made me very hopeful that we'll be able to get through this together. So thank you all for sharing all of that. And I know that we're going to be able to get back to what I know this club can be and has been. And our co-presidents, I know you were worried about how you've been leading the club. And what I've seen in you guys, I know that you can do it. You guys have the ability to, you care about this club enough, and I've heard so many like common values today that are going to help guide us back to that place. And so moving forward, I think you've seen today that having good conflict resolution techniques are very important. And so I hope you know that if you need someone to mediate a conversation like this again, or if you guys are feeling like it's all too much and that the tensions are too high, I'm always there to help you guys out and support that, because I don't want it to get as bad as it has gotten. And I think we've really reiterated today like the common mission that we have. And so I hope that you guys all like spend time together in this club and outside of it to get back to that place.
Thank you all for sharing. As Gabby mentioned, this is just the start of a conversation. It's not the final resolution or anything. This conversation could definitely continue outside of the circle or even be reconvened as the alumni has said, and it could come back together and the conversation can continue. So thank you all for joining me today. Just to kind of close the circle in a similar way to how we opened it, I'm going to ask you all to take 3 deep breaths with me just to relax and feel calm in the space once again. So, in and out. In